Hey you guys, and welcome back to Dr. Holloman's music class. So I know that by this point everybody should be in school. If you're watching this video later in the school year, I made this video about the time that school was getting cranked up. We've been in school for 3 or 4 weeks now, and for my first graders, it's the time that we are getting Steady Beat burned into their brain. For my second graders, we're reviewing Steady Beat, things like that. So I wanted to come on here today and show you something that, and I'm not taking credit for the invention of this, but I want to show you what I have done it since I adopted this several years ago, and that is Steady Beat lightsabers. So let me show you the lightsaber. So I'm going to pull it back so y'all can see that. So this is the Steady Beat lightsaber. So basically it is a pool noodle that I took and I cut into thirds. When I got the noodles ready, I got some pink ones, I got some blue ones. Really, those are the only colors they had at the time. I wanted some other colors, but that's all they had. And then take some duct tape and electrical tape, and you can see on the end here, I duct taped, a few inches, I would say, just kind of handle with, and then use the electrical tape to add some lines, and then on this side here, and I did 2 little pieces on the other side, and this is just to kind of make it look more lightsaber like. So we did that. Again, I don't take credit for creating this. I found this on another page. It very well could have been a Pinterest page. But the kids really have fun with these. So before we get the lightsabers out, the first thing I do is say, okay, listen to the song and let's see if you guys can keep a steady beat. And we use Imperial March from Star Wars, and I'll ask them, okay, now that you've listened to it, we've kept a steady beat to it, what movies do you think this is from? They'll say Star Wars, and then what character does this music represent? Darth Vader. So, and some of them, I've honestly gotten a lot of Spider-Mans this year. A lot of them say Spider-Man. No, it's not from Spider-Man. But for the most part, everybody's kind of gotten it. At least 1 or 2 kids know where the music's from. The next thing we do is we take the steady beat lightsaber oath. So I have them raise their right hand and repeat after me. And this is the phrase that I use. And again, I don't take credit for the oath part of it. It was another music educator that I give full credit, but I cannot for the life of me remember from year to year exactly what it is he says. So it changes from year to year. But this year, this is what I had them say. I promise I will not use my Steady Beat saber incorrectly or against my classmates. I promise I will use my Steady Beat saber correctly to keep a steady beat and have fun. So that's what they say. Then I have them, we go through the procedure of how they get their Steady Beat sabers. So I keep my sabers in a crate. On kind of like if I'm looking at the kids, the crate's over here, and it's got my bucket drums, my drumsticks, my crate full of the lightsabers and boom whackers, and I just kind of keep it over in the corner of that room. So when they get up, they make a line, they come around, and I have a set of risers, an old set that I'm not using on stage anymore. So if they've moved into my room, I have them set up so I can put everything on there. So they step up, they grab their saber out of the crate, and then they go back to their seats. And when they walking with it, they have to walk with it like this so that it's up against them. No chance that they're going to be hitting other kids with it and things like that. When they get back to, I'm very strict about this too. When they get back to their seats, they have to put this end on the floor, hold their hand on the top end as they sit in their seat so that, there's no chance that they mess around with it. So that's resting position for us with the sabers. So then I say, all right, it's time to become level 1 Steady Beat Jedis. So the first thing we do is we just simply keep Steady Beat in our hand like you would do with a boom whacker. And this kind of serves 2 purposes. 1, it gets their brain into the Steady Beat, and 2, it go ahead and prepares their mind for when we do get the boom whackers out. Because once I do this, then we start incorporating more instruments, then we things like that. And there's a boom whacker song that I use to introduce the boom whackers to them. And this also helps them with the motion. I can say, you remember what you did for level 1s for your lightsabers, you're going to hit it the same way for your boom whackers. So 2 purposes. It goes ahead and gets that in their brain, the mechanism of how they do it. Because, first graders were still working on fine motor skills and things like that. And so this really also helps with fine motor skills. So they keep a steady beat in their hand. And anybody who's familiar with Imperial March, when you listen to it, there's a part, I want to say about a minute in, that the music gets real soft. It just kind of drops out, gets real soft for a minute. And so at that part, I say, all right, when that part of the music starts, freeze. You can't move for the duration of that. And you can hear when all the bass instruments drop out and then when they kick back in. When the bass instruments kick back in on that strong steady beat undercurrent that the song's got, then they pick the steady beat back up. And I don't do the entire song. I go probably about 30 more seconds into it after the soft part and say, okay, great. If everybody was successful in doing that, I say, congratulations, you are officially level 1 Steady Beat Jedis. And they absolutely love that. They get so excited. Then I say, all right, it's time for level 2. So what we do for level 2 is we partner them up, and they will cross their sabers. So if I have a second saber, say my arm is the other saber, they'll cross their sabers with each other under strict rules. So I always demonstrate with a kid. Usually if I have a first grader that's maybe repeating first grade, they did this last year, I'll pull them up. Or, just someone who I've seen over the past few weeks pays really good attention, things like that, is, on point, and I'll bring them up and I'll show them how we do it, and I'll say, do you see us going crazy with it? Are we trying to whack each other? Are we trying to have a fight? So, just make sure to go through those procedures so they understand what is not acceptable when they're doing the sabers. So again, if my arm is the other person's saber, we simply tap to the steady beat. And if you see those kids that are having trouble, I'll go and grab their sabers and kind of get them back on beat. And then in the soft part, this time, instead of just freezing, they have to freeze in their best battle pose, is what I call it. So they'll be like this or like that. And I reiterate, don't go crawling on the floor, falling down, or doing some weird Spider-Man pose. Just pose in a battle pose. And then the beat picks me back up, and they start, boom, with their partners again. So that's level 2. For level 3, we do the same thing, except with the soft part, instead of just freezing in your best battle pose, I'll tell them we're going to administer the Jedi sneak. And for the Jedi sneak, they have to kind of hold their saber on their side, like they're, like a sword going into the scabbard or something. They'll hold it to the side, and they have to sneak around each other really quiet, trying not to touch each other with their boom whackers, things like that. And I'll, as they're going through that, I'll tell them, okay, when you hear me count down, 4, 3, 2, 1. And of course I do it with the beat and try to time it where the bass part is getting ready to kick in, or the bass steady beat in the song has already kicked in. And I say, by the time I've counted 4, 3, 2, 1, you have to find a different partner. So they have to be with somebody else at the end of the 4, 3, 2, 1 to pick up the steady beat again. And they're actually, surprisingly for first graders, they do that part pretty well. You might have 1 or 2 that are, just swirling around their buddies so they can make sure to get with them something. No, you got to spread out. So you kind of have to make sure to monitor and keep on them about that, and help them out if they have trouble finding a partner. And I don't let them pick the beat back up until everybody has found their partner. So that part, is going to have to wiggle with them a little bit to make it work. So then congratulations, you are level 3 Steady Beat Jedi. So level 1, you just tap in your hand, freeze while they sit in their chairs. Level 2, tap with a partner, freeze in your best battle pose. Level 3, tap with your partner, but sneak during the soft part, and then get a new partner after the countdown. For level 4, and I don't usually do this with my first graders, this is when I'm reiterating steady beat with my second graders, we do level 4 and level 5. So for level 4, they once again are partnered up. I don't do the Jedi sneak for level 4 or level 5, and you'll understand why in just a second. So for level 4 and level 5, you'll partner back up, keep the steady beat. They'll freeze in their best battle pose on the soft part. But here's the kicker: for level 4, we're gonna make a big circle. So instead of them just kind of spread out around the room, we make a big circle. They'll have their back to somebody, and they'll be facing their partner. They tap with their partner for 8 steady beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then they have to turn to the person they just had their back to and do another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they have to go back and forth like that in increments of 8. For level 5, they do the same thing, but in increments of 4. So it's only 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch 1, 2, 3, 4. They have so much fun with that part. The fact that they have to go back and forth is a lot of fun. It's a little bit more monitoring. So if you've got an even number of kids, make sure to stay in the center of the circle so you can keep everybody monitored. Of course, if you have an uneven number, you have to participate, which is fun too. Sometimes you have an uneven number, you get to do it as well. But that's what I do with the Steady Beat Sabers. Again, pool noodle, super easy. You could probably still get some at Walmart right now if you're watching this during the summer, early spring, or around the beginning of the fall time period. Duct tape, electrical tape. Pool noodle, duct tape, electrical tape. I'll show you kind of the design up close. So I did the about right there, and you can see the length of my hand is about what I did, and then, which I have small hands, and then 3 lines, and then 2, and then 1. And again, I do not take credit for this, and I really wish I could remember where it is I learned this, but we've been doing this for so many years now. I don't remember where I got it from, but it is a big hit. I've even had on May the 4th, of course, May the 4th be with you kind of thing. Some of my high school kids, they'll have fun as kind of a brain break or something like that, or if we're done with all our concerts and choir Olympics, they've even asked to do this. So I'll take them through the processes, but then I'll let them do like 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'll take a little bit higher, or even 1, 1, 1, because they're high school kids. Their motor skills are better. They can, well, you would hope they would be better. But again, they have a lot of fun with this. So if you are looking for a fun, interesting, unique way to reiterate steady beat, to teach steady beat in the kids leading up. And of course, we do several steady beat things before we get to this. I make sure that they understand what the steady beat is, how to keep it in their hand kind of stuff before they ever get to the Sabers. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you guys have any other really fun, cool ideas on how to really get that steady beat lessons, just let me know. And as always, make sure to go check out my website, Dr. Holloman's Music Class, lmhmusicteacher.wixsite.com/my site. But I'm also on Instagram, and I'm also on TikTok. I post a lot more on TikTok than I do on Instagram. So make sure to follow me on all of that, and like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions about how to do this, or if any other techniques that I'd use, you can reach out to me via my website or drop a comment in this video. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, and we'll see you later. Bye.